Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Today I'm going to talk about using your beautiful imagination. Imagination plays a far more important role in our lives than most of us realize. So many times we use our imagination to imagine the worst that could happen. We get so focused on planning for disasters and crises and what if this happens and what if that goes wrong? And that's actually wiring our brain to always look for the worst, to expect bad things to happen. With the repetition, that's neural rewiring of our brain. So we want to do some neural retraining and imagine what is the best that could happen. What if we used our imagination to design the life that we want and to imagine it so often that it just naturally becomes that? It's like hypnotizing yourself, training your brain to look for what's good, for what you want, for building that beautiful life that you desire, rather than focusing on current or past or building what you don't want. Dr. Maxwell Maltz, in his book Psychocybernetics, shows how we have goals and we are using our imagination whether we think we are or not. We either use our imaginations constructively or destructively. The key is becoming aware of which way you are using your imagination and improving it daily. He says creative imagination is not something reserved for poets, philosophers, and inventors. It enters into our every act. For imagination sets the goal picture that our automatic mechanism works on. Let's take a moment to get settled in, to put away distractions, to sit quietly. You might even close your eyes and block out the outside world. Of course, you're not going to do that if you're driving or doing something important, but I like to do this first thing in the morning before I start my day, knowing that there's nothing I have to do, nowhere I have to be. My body can just relax into deciding, what do I really want? Not giving energy to the negative, not giving energy and power to what I don't want to happen, but what would I really prefer? What would I love? How can I make this the best day of my life? Imagine. Let's set a goal picture. Use it as a targeted destination because your subconscious mind needs a picture to work with. So let's give it a beautiful picture, imagining what you truly desire. If you spend time focused on what you don't want and you do that repeatedly, it becomes solid. It becomes a mountain in your life. It becomes your life. So let's do the opposite. Let's focus on what you really want. What would it feel like to have the time and money freedom to do the work that you love, not hating your job and earning a paycheck just to pay bills to get out of debt. That's not where we're going. What would you love? Human beings always act and feel and perform in accordance with what we imagine to be true about ourselves and our environment. This is a basic and fundamental law of mind. It's the way we are built. Allow your body to relax. Maxwell Maltz says, when we see the law of mind graphically and dramatically demonstrated in a hypnotized subject, we are prone to think that there's something occult or supernormal at work. Actually, what we're witnessing is the normal operating processes of the human brain and nervous system. Here's an example. If a good hypnotic subject is told that he's at the North Pole, he will not only shiver and appear to be cold, his body will react just as if he were cold, and goosebumps will develop. The same phenomenon has been demonstrated on wide-awake college students by asking them to imagine that one of their hands is immersed in ice water. Thermometer readings show that the temperature does drop in the hand that's in the ice, pretending to be in the ice water, what he called the treated hand. Tell a hypnotized subject that your finger is a red hot poker, and he will not only grimace with pain at your touch, but his cardiovascular and lymphatic systems will react just as if your finger were a red hot poker. And it can actually produce inflammation, and it may even blister on the skin. This is how powerful your mind is. When college students that were wide awake and hypnotized have been told to imagine that a spot on their foreheads is hot, temperature readings have shown an actual increase in skin temperature. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between an imagined experience and a real experience. In either case, it automatically reacts to information that you give it from your forebrain. So you decide on a beautiful picture in your conscious mind, and you imagine it, you relax, you pretend you're there. This is the power of suggestion. You repeat it over and over and over, and your subconscious mind accepts it as real. And you do this often enough, you find yourself living that picture where you decide what you want. You practice neural retraining, you practice repetition, you practice getting into the picture. You're so relaxed and enjoying the beautiful view that your central nervous system is overcome by that feeling. You're wealthy, you're healthy, you're using your money for wonderful things. You already have everything you need, everything you want. The bills are paid. You've already been on the holiday. What else can you do? Maybe you've designed something that helps the world. Maybe you are in love and taking vacations that are so beautiful. Maybe at the beautiful vacation spot, You're doing some work to help the people that don't have as much as you have. What kind of purpose do you feel you would love to engage in that maybe in the past you haven't had the time or the money? Now you do. Your life is wide open. There's a clean slate. You have all your needs met. You're calm, you're relaxed. You're looking to create something else, something beautiful, something that you would desire more than anything. Your nervous system reacts appropriately to what you think or imagine to be true. Take a deep breath in and let your imagination be a free spirit. What would you love? You're happy, you're healthy, you're wealthy. What are you designing? How often do you just allow yourself to relax, to allow that beautiful dream of yours to become an experience in your body, in your mind? When you do this often enough, you find it's natural. And whatever you dream about, whatever you desire, whatever you're in harmony with, moves towards you. It moves into your physical reality. Dr. Maxwell Maltz says, why not imagine yourself successful? Realizing that our actions, feelings, and behavior are the result of our own images and beliefs gives us the lever that psychology has always needed for changing personality. It opens a new psychological door to gaining skill, success, and happiness. Mental pictures offer us an opportunity to practice new traits and attitudes which we otherwise do not do. This is possible again because your nervous system cannot tell the difference between an actual experience and one that is vividly imagined. If we picture ourselves performing in a certain manner, it is nearly the same as the actual performance. Mental practice helps to make perfect. In controlled experiments, it's been proven that mental practice in throwing darts at a target where the person just sits for a period of each day in front of a target and imagines throwing darts at it improves aim as much as actually throwing darts. The effects of mental practice on improving skill in sinking basketball free throws has been proven. A group of students that practiced throwing the ball every day for 20 days, they were scored on the first and last day. A second group was scored on the first and last day, but they didn't do any practice. The third group was scored on the first day, and then they spent 20 minutes a day imagining that they were throwing the ball into the hoop. When they missed, they would imagine that they corrected their aim accordingly. The first group that practiced 20 minutes a day improved in scoring by 24%. The second group that didn't practice at all showed no improvement. And the third group, which practiced in their imagination, improved in scoring 23%, almost the same amount as the ones who physically practiced every day. Isn't that incredible? If you just sit quietly and imagine what you would be doing when you're loving your life, you're doing the purposeful work that you enjoy. You have all the time and money, freedom, no worries. You love your life. How would that feel? What would you be doing? Maybe the leisure activities that you keep putting aside for some day, maybe you're actually enjoying them without guilt. You're imagining how free, how wonderful. You've already worked hard. Now you enjoy your travels, your walks, your hikes, your golf, your swimming, your volunteering, whatever you truly want to do, what brings you joy. Allow that to be your real experience. The business that you always knew would change how people live their life, make it easier by your inventions, by the products, the services that you provide. Money's flowing into your bank account, and you see how you've changed the lives of your customers. How does that make you feel? Mental pictures can even help you if you're in the business of selling products. It can help you sell more goods. There was a story of Charles Roth, author of Secrets of Closing Sales, recounted in one of his books how a group of salesmen in Detroit who tried a new idea increased their sales 100%. Another group in New York increased their sales by 150%. And individual salespeople using the same idea have increased their sales up to 400%. And what is the magic that accomplished so much for these salespeople? Role playing. What is role playing? It's simply imagining yourself in various sales situations and then solving them in your mind until you know what to say and what to do whenever the situation comes up in real life. It's what is called skull practice on the football field. The reason why it accomplishes so much is that selling is simply a matter of situations. Every time you talk to a customer, if you know how to counter an objection or answer a question, you make the sale. In your mind, you can imagine these situations. No matter what the situation is, as you prepare for it beforehand, it means you're imagining yourself facing the situation and successfully doing what you want to be doing. You're not overacting, you're rehearsing. What would it be like to be running your own business? Or what would you be doing once your business is successful and you have all the time freedom? You're not forcing or grinding or spending 80 hours a week working. You're enjoying the fruits of your labor. Successful people since the beginning of time have used mental pictures and rehearsal practice to achieve success. Conrad Hilton imagined himself operating a hotel long before he ever bought one. When he was a boy, he used to play that he was a hotel operator. He decided that he wanted to buy his mother a hotel, and he's one of the most successful hoteliers in the business. The art of mental picturing has sometimes been associated with magic, but the science of cybernetics gives us an insight into why mental picturing produces such amazing results. It's not due to magic, but to the natural, normal functioning of our minds. Cybernetics regards the human brain, the nervous system, and muscular system as a highly complex servo mechanism, an automatic goal-seeking machine that steers its way to a goal or a target by use of the feedback data and stored information. And then it automatically corrects course when necessary. That doesn't mean you are a machine, but that your physical brain and body functions as a machine that you operate. This automatic creative mechanism within you can operate in only one way. It must have a target to shoot at. You must clearly see the thing in your mind before you can do it. When you see a thing clearly in your mind, the creative success mechanism within you takes over, and it does the job much better than you could do by conscious effort or through willpower. Instead of trying hard by conscious effort to do the thing with iron-jawed willpower, and all the while worrying and picturing to yourself all the things that could go wrong, you simply relax the strain. Stop trying to do it by strain and effort. Picture to yourself the target you really want to hit, and let your success, your creative success mechanism take over. Mentally picturing the desired end result literally forces you to use positive thinking. You're not relieved from effort and work, but your efforts are used to carry you forward toward your goal, rather than in the futile mental conflict that results when you want and try to do one thing, but picture yourself doing something else. This is a daily practice. There was a Dr. Leslie Weatherhead, Christian theologian and author of The Will of God, he wrote in Prescription for Anxiety, if we have in our minds a picture of ourselves as fear-haunted and defeated nobodies, we must get rid of that picture at once and hold up our heads. That's a false picture, and the false must go. God sees us as men and women in whom and through whom He can do great work. He sees us as already serene, confident, and cheerful. He sees us not as pathetic victims of life, but masters of the art of living, not wanting sympathy, but imparting help to others, and therefore thinking less and less of ourselves, and full not of self-concern, but of love and laughter and a desire to serve. Let us look at the real selves which are in the making the moment we believe in their existence. We must recognize the possibility of change and believe in the self we are now in the process of becoming. That old sense of unworthiness and failure must go. It is false, and we are not to believe in what is false. You were created perfectly. You were created in the image of God. You have been gifted with the beautiful higher intellect of imagination. Use your beautiful imagination to create a picture in your mind of what you want, what you deeply desire. And rather than longing and yearning and wanting, practice feeling as if you're already there. You're already that. You've already become the version of you that is happy, healthy, wealthy, serving others. Because when you notice that when you just focus on your own problems, you become bigger. When you go out and serve others, that allows you to feel more productive, more purposeful, more passionate about life. Allow yourself to relax into the picture that you desire. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Your subconscious mind will go looking for the evidence. Set up a successful day by imagining it. And before you go to sleep tonight, practice pretending that the day was just exactly the way you wanted it to be. Allow your subconscious mind to be reprogrammed. Create a wonderful day. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.